What do I think is going to happen with the markets? We got a lot of stuff on the horizon. We got the CPI report this week in 3 days. Today is Monday. We have it on Thursday, October 13th. We have a lot of earnings coming. Earnings season is really starting here. I'm going to share with you why and what I think is going to happen. Now, I'm not sure what's going to happen. No one's sure what's going to happen. But I do have my best guess. And I spend 10, 12, 14 hours a day studying markets. So I'm going to give you my best guess, but we're going to chat a little bit and I'll get to it because I got to lay some groundwork for you to be able to see where I'm coming from. Now, we are in a very bearish gauntlet right now, right? This week we have the CPI. Last week we had the jobs reports, and we're in earnings season now for Q3. Are we in a recession? Are we not in a recession? Oh, we're in a fucking recession. And the question is, how deep is it? How bad is it? And how much further is it going to go? Will the Fed keep hiking? I don't see a world where the Fed won't keep hiking because they have a mandate to control inflation, monetary policy, and maintain employment. Well, unemployment's not an issue, right? That just has us all scratching our heads like, when is this thing going to start ticking up? This week we have some good earnings reports. Next week's going to get a little spicy, and then the week after that gets super duper spicy because that's Apple, Google, Facebook. Who else? There's one more big one. Twitter is on there. And the week before, I believe, I'm not sure where Microsoft reports. Come on, bub. But there's a lot on the horizon. We're just heading into a bearish gauntlet. But the question is, everybody is so bearish. Everybody, like record levels of bearishness. So if this is where we're at, when everybody's super bearish, maybe this is the bottom. Maybe there isn't much more to go. Maybe we go up, right? Because we're expecting such badness. We're expecting bad earnings. We're expecting a not good CPI report. We're expecting the Fed to do 0.75 and 5 and keep hiking rates. We're expecting poor earnings. And this is where the prices of everything are at. So it's like, oh, all right, well, that's all priced in. So now what? Well, here's where it gets kind of spicy. Because we don't really know what the earnings reports are going to be. We don't really know what the earnings reports are going to be. They could be worse than we think, because in my opinion, from what I'm seeing, people are just overestimating what the earnings reports are going to be. In terms of, they keep getting downgraded, right? They keep getting looking worse and worse. But I'm sitting here thinking, I think they're going to be worse than whatever you guys keep changing your grades to, because companies themselves put in their earning estimates, for the year, for next year, blah, blah, blah. And they always make it look better than it's going to be, because why wouldn't they? They have to. So you can't go off that. But then a lot of the market is still kind of roughly going off those numbers. And I'm like, are you guys serious? You're listening to the people that it's in their own worst interest to tell you what they really think the numbers are going to be? Because I think there's a good chance some earnings come back worse than expected, and they're not expecting great things. Like Apple, for instance. I think Apple is one to really, 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 really watch. Because I think that iPhone 14 is not getting great sales. I really don't. I think that they've had a drop in AirPods and Apple Watch sales and iPads. MacBooks are probably doing okay-ish because people are still going to college. Lots of college students buy MacBooks, and of all the things for them to have, MacBooks are the most important. And iPhones, you don't need to get the brand new iPhone. iPhone 13, iPhone 12, hell, iPhone 11, all pretty damn good, right? What's the difference, really? Besides just having the newest thing. But what do I think the markets are going to do? So that's where the question lies. What's going to happen? Everyone's so bearish. How could it go any lower? Everyone's literally so bearish. Like, look, something I like to look at is the put to call ratio. Puts are they're the highest they've been during this entire thing. If you're unfamiliar, a put is an option that says, hey, we believe the price is going to be lower than it is right now. And they benefit, a put option, person with put option benefits from the price going down. So there are way more puts than calls in the market. So when that ratio gets to certain points, you realize that the market's going to turn. With that being said, I don't mean, there's a lot of puts, so now the market's going down. No, if the puts get too high, the market goes up. If the calls get too high, the market goes down. Because it's got to get balanced out. There's the good old Space Needle back there. But the put to call ratio, it's been trading in this channel. And it's getting towards the top of the channel. It's an ascending channel. So it's not like a channel like straight across. It's up, it goes up, down inside of this channel. And the put to call, and every time we've hit a bottom so far with a reasonable, uptick, like say in March, like say in July, the put to call ratio hit the top of this channel and formed a bullish divergence, which is when the price of a stock or the market, let's say the S&P 500, even though daily crypto bull, listen, I got to follow macro like crazy. That sounds ominous, doesn't it? What's been happening is it forms a bearish divergence or a bullish divergence, whichever side of the channel it's on. If it's coming towards the top, which I mean the puts are at a much higher ratio compared to the calls, there's more puts, way more puts than calls. Once I see price hit a low and put call options hit a high, and then price hits a lower low and put call option ratio is lower than it was before, well, that's a divergence. Because if price went down more, then the put call ratio should go up more. That meaning the market's going, all right. We think that's low enough, man. We think that's low enough. I think we're going to have to go up. And same thing vice versa when it gets to the other side, when there's too many calls compared to the puts. When there's too many calls compared to the puts, market going down, baby. It's going down. What's up, bub? So if I had to really guess, right, looking at everything, here's what I really think is going to happen. I've kind of been saying this for a while, but I'm kind of, nervous to say it because it sounds kind of fucking crazy. It sounds so hard to believe, which also makes me feel maybe a little bit more confident in saying it because it's hard to believe. Most people wouldn't agree with me. But I don't think it would be the wildest thing if it happened. What I think, the wildest thing would be happen, it just shoots up, goes to the moon. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. That's not what I'm saying. That's not the crazy, unpopular, not unpopular, just non-consensus thing that I'm going to say. Here's what I think is going to happen. If I got to put my money on one thing of all the outcomes, now I don't know what's going to happen, right? Not financial advice. No one knows what's really, 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 really going to happen. But if I got to pick one thing and put it at the top, I think we go down fucking hard this month, October, and we hit a fucking bottom at Halloween. Yeah, that's what I think. I think we hit a fucking bottom at Halloween. And I think it is the last leg down of all of this shit. And I think it could quite possibly, on a percentage basis, the biggest leg down we've had this entire bear market. Yeah. If I got to pick one thing, if I got to put my chips in one spot, kids riding around, that's where it is. I think the markets go down hard in the next few weeks. I'm saying I'm taking Halloween as my bottom date because it's the end of the monthly candle. It's the monthly close. We're going through this whole October gauntlet of CPI, of earnings, of jobs reports. And guess what's on November 1st and 2nd? The FOMC meeting. The Fed's going to come out and hike interest rates on November 2nd. Well, whatever they're going to do on the 2nd, the market knows what they're going to do. They're going to do 0.75, right? It's going to be priced in before the meeting comes out. If anything, I think prices go up after the FOMC meeting on November 2nd, after Powell comes out and says, yeah, we're doing 0.75. And it's like, oh, that's what he's doing. Okay, we can breathe. That's what we always thought he's going to do. They're going to do. It's funny. That's what I think is going to happen. If I got to pick one thing, if I got to put my chips in one spot, that's what it is. I think the market's bottom October 31st. And I mean, it's the bottom. I think it's the bottom. Yeah, bold as shit. Like I said, could I be wrong? Of course. Is there a lot of good arguments for what's going to happen? Of course. But if I got to pick one thing, if I got to put my chips in one spot, if I have to, which I don't have to, but if I have to, You know, that's where they're going. I think we start seeing a fat ass leg down in the next 3 weeks. Fat ass leg down. That's a technical term. Go feel free to look it up on Investopedia. But I think we got a fat ass leg down. I'm talking S&P to 3,000, probably under, maybe 2,800, at least 3,200. But I think 2,800 is quite possible, even if it's just a wick. I mean, NASDAQ going way under 10,000. I think NASDAQ would go to probably about 8. Let's get to crypto, because daily crypto bull. I think Bitcoin might tap 10. I think ETH might get into the 300s. What? This guy's crazy. I got to go to the next video. He's stupid. Blah, 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 blah. Well, if I'm hitting a nerve on you, I don't know how that helps you to freak out and think you're so right. Because I'm not sitting here saying this is what's going to happen. Yes, you are. That's what. No, I said if I have to pick something, because there's a lot of possible outcomes that are reasonable. I said if I had to put my chips in one spot, it would be that. It would be a needle over here. Beautiful. It's like golden hour too. A lot of beautiful stuff going on. There's a big boy. If I had to pick something, that's what I would pick. I would pick markets bottoming Halloween. And that being the bottom. Now we may come back and test that and tap that over the next year, but I think that's the bottom. That's what I think. That's what I think's gonna happen. Could I be wrong? Yep, sure could. But again, before you go crapping your pants, screaming hate, this guy's blah 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 like a goddamn moron, get control of yourself, you emotionally fucking moron. Wow, what wonderful vocabulary I have. Just saying, that's what I think's gonna happen. So I got for you. Do I hope I'm wrong? I only hope I'm wrong if this is the bottom and we just go up from here. That's what I would prefer. I prefer that this is the bottom right now. We just go up from here. That's what I would prefer. Because that's what's going to happen. So I think that we got one more big nasty ass leg down. Again, that's a technical term. Look it up on Investopedia.com. Investopedia.com. And hold on to your knickers. Here we go.